iced coffee, tea, and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, take our leave and go. At a fair, the sun in town, her hair was blonde and her dress was brown. She made a whaler man come around. It's mid-October, the perfect time to enjoy boating and enjoy the outdoors. And I've trailered the skiff about 15 miles down the trace in LBL and a few miles down a gravel road to a campground where I will be launching. The boat is loaded with the usual camping gear plus a couple of luxury items, including cookware and a butane stove. I'm even bringing my Dietz Little Wizard oil lantern. Normally, I wouldn't bring all these extra items, but this time I'm taking a different approach to camping. Rather than sailing continuously point to point, setting up camp, waking up the next morning, breaking it down, and sailing away, this time I plan to set up a base camp in this remote bay in LBL and spend a couple of days exploring different areas each day. "60 degrees feels a little chilly when I've become accustomed to the 80-degree weather all summer. When it suddenly drops down to 60, that's a reason to get bundled up a little bit, especially when you factor in a stiff wind and being on the water. For being back in a bay, there's a fairly steady northwest wind today and an excellent day for sailing. I know this area well, so I have a pretty good idea of where I want to set up camp, but I'm still going to have to physically scout locations because conditions and the environment are always changing from season to season and year to year. But for the time being, I just enjoy the perfect sailing conditions, keeping an eye out for where I want to camp. This keelboat had been sitting at anchor near the campground, and we hollered back and forth a little bit as we crossed paths. They wanted to know what make and model my skiff was.
What make? Home built.
chose to make camp on an open section of bank on the northern side of the bay. The ground is mostly sand with a little bit of fine gravel mixed in. My skiff is not the driest boat there is, especially when sailing to wind, and so unfortunately I did manage to get some water in the provisions. The mattress also got wet, but it should dry out quickly in the sun. I just laid it out on a branch. All the important and moisture sensitive stuff goes in my 50-liter dry bag, so I don't have to worry about it. It makes a good seal, watertight seal. My tent is a backpacking style of tent. It's a Eureka Spitfire. It really suits me and the type of camping I do. It's very light, very quick to set up. You can sit up in it, and it's got a pretty decent rain fly. And with the rain fly staked out, there's a little bit of space in between the fly and the tent where you can put gear to keep it dry. When camping remote, I find the less kit I bring, the more fun I have. I don't want to be cluttered in the boat, and I don't want to spend all my time packing, unpacking, and setting up and breaking down. This is something that was realized in the early 20th century when recreational camping first became popular. It was realized by experienced woodsmen like George Washington Sears, and if you spend much time camping or out in the woods, it's something you'll realize for yourself pretty quickly. You don't want to be encumbered by unnecessary pieces of kit. You want just what you need to do the job and to get by, because the point is to enjoy the outdoors, not to spend a lot of time fiddling around with stuff. On the other hand, there are certain items that are absolutely necessary, like good outdoor clothing that's going to keep you warm and dry. So there's definitely a fine balance to be struck here, and it takes some time to perfect it. And I certainly haven't perfected my system yet, but I've gotten a lot better over the years. With all the gear offloaded and camp made, the boat is feeling much lighter and decluttered, and I set off to explore the bay.